It's time for another edition of Toro Talk. I'm Joel Norman, and we're joined by the head coach of the Mason City Toros, Nick Bruneteau. We're on to the second round, the West Division Finals, the Mason City Toros against the Granite City Lumberjacks. And Nick, it really feels fitting that this is the matchup. Two top teams all year in this division. Should be a heck of a series.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've had a great year, and we've had a great year as well. And, the top two teams in the division, I think if you look at it, we've had every one of those games has been 2-goal games, and it's fitting that it's a rival.
No, I completely agree, and I think this is the best way to settle it because Granite City wins the regular season series, but the Toros deliver them 2 of their 3 losses this season. What's the biggest challenge that Granite City has presented for you guys this season when you've been matched up against them?
Well, they're a very defensive team. You look at their roster; it's a lot of big bodies who play a physical style of hockey, and if you look at the numbers, I think they've given up the least amount of goals by a big margin. So, they have good goaltending, they have 6 good defensemen, and their forwards are very defensive oriented. We
looked at this division all year, and you talk about these top 4 teams, and it's pretty. You can make a case for all of them to have gone. Of course, only 2 of them are going to have a chance to go to the Fraser Cup Championship overall coming up. You've done the scouting on how they did against Alexandria. What were some of your takeaways for how Granite City did against the Blizzard in that 2-game series sweep?
Well, it goes back to that defensive style of hockey. They really limit the other team's opportunities. They don't give up many odd man rushes. They're disciplined with staying out of the box. Obviously playing Alex, I think that they had a lot more in zone time than maybe playing against us or Wilmer. But their forwards are still dynamic. Where if you give them opportunities, they're gonna put them away.
You and I both agreed, and I think a lot of people might have agreed on this before the West Division semis that you could have seen that series going any way. The way it went was the Toros sweeping the Warhawks. What were your takeaways from that series? Nice to get the 2 games out of the way so you didn't have to worry about a Game 3, but really I think it came down to that second period of Game 1 that really set the tone for that series as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that was the turning point in the series, and we didn't look back, but I think one of the best things we did is I thought we handled the highs and lows throughout the game, both games, very, very well. And that's a credit to our leadership group. That's 4 guys that have won a championship and they've been there before and they understand how to handle those moments. And I thought they led in the right way, and the rest of the guys followed suit. And the energy was just contagious, and it started in the first period, and it continued all the way to the locker room in Game 2.
Obviously, that first period of Game 1 didn't go the way you guys wanted. You're trailing 3-1 going into the locker room. Was there anyone stepping up in the locker room who said something? Was it you saying something, or was it kind of, let's stay the course, we know we can get this win tonight?
Well, I'm sure guys stepped in and said something. Those are the type of leaders we have, and I heard Sloth saying things on the bench. I heard Noop saying things on the bench, and so they obviously were monitoring that stuff too. From a coach's side of things, our message was just to stay patient. I thought the first period we were down 3-1, but I thought we played a good period. I thought we played the right way. A tip-in goal and a goal screen from traffic. So those are things that, they happen in hockey, and sometimes you're going to get the bounces and other times you're not. So just stay patient, keep playing good defensive hockey. I think that's always the message when you're playing playoff hockey. And fortunately for us, we continue to play good defensive hockey, and we've buried our chances.
4 different players scored in both games. Blake Olvey, of course, had 3 goals in the 2 games. What did that mean to have that type of depth scoring? Because when you talk about the postseason, you talk about a big run, you think about depth.
It's huge. It's huge. All 4 lines contributed this last weekend, and that's something we haven't seen during the regular season. So to step up in playoffs, I thought it was huge. And you look at a guy like Humphreys, leading that second line. He had some very good timely points. And then our fourth line. Jordan Newpower's goal on Thursday's night game was the biggest goal of the game and the biggest moment of the game. So we're getting contributions from all 4 lines, all 6 defensemen. So we're just hoping that continues this weekend.
A big switch you made late in the regular season was switching up Blake Olvey and Derek Humphreys. Humphreys now on the second line, Olvey's on the first. Of course, it could change this weekend, but that was something you did at the end of the regular season and what you stuck with in the first round of the playoffs. Just take me behind that a little bit, because both were excellent centers, and they both really excelled since this change.
Yeah, I think both of them are suitable to play with that top line. Obviously, Derek's had success with those guys as well. Me and Marquise, we talked about it, and I think it was something where we felt that Olvey made that top line a little bit more defensive in the D zone, and Humphreys did the reverse on that second line where he gave them a little bit more offensive flair, and it's worked out so far, so hopefully it continues.
in net. Eric Chave had that shutout victory against Granite City to wrap up the regular season. You go into the postseason, Owen Carlson gets the win in game 1. The next night he comes out, makes 50 saves. How nice is that, having two number one goaltenders that you can really feel confident in with regardless of who's in net?
Yeah, it's awesome, and it makes our jobs easy. And you said it, we feel like we have two number ones. So whether Owen's in net or Eric's in net, I know that every player on the ice and both coaches have all the confidence in the world they're going to get the job done.
I'll have you do something a little different here. I'll have you finish this sentence for me. If the Toros are going to defeat the Granite City Lumberjacks in this series, it'll be because
we played great defensive hockey.
that'll be the most important thing. Nick, thanks for joining us, and best of luck this series.
Thanks, Joel.
That was the head coach of the Mason City Toros, Nick Bruneteau, joining us, and this has been Toro Talk.